Yeah, let's do it. Yeah,
all right, we're doing it. We're doing it. Do you want to say anything before we run the opening credit? Like hello
No.
or anything? No? Okay,
Hello.
then here we go. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
This is 2OF Entertainment.
Well, here we go. It's the man that promises you nothing and delivers. It's the veritable man motor-mouth. It's Road Woods who feels the need to call himself Robb Vega. It somehow makes him feel important. Anyway, do have a listen and try not to throw up.
Oh, here he is. We're live.
Yeah. So cool. I love that tune too much. It's ridiculous.
I know.
Otherwise, I just have a message for everybody.
You got to thank that. David's our guy.
You read that?
Yeah, if it wasn't for David.
Can you read that?
Can I read that? Let's see. It's always coffee time. I have one. I have a mug that says, "My dog and I talk shit about you."
Oh, nice. Look at that.
I see that.
Oh, before we get onto it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you told me this now. I don't think you did. Okay. I bumped into it. Apparently, this is true. Oh, God, I hope it isn't something you told me. About the guy, he goes into a pub and he says, I will bet you any amount of money, right?
Yeah.
I've got your name tattooed on my ass.
Oh my God. Okay. No, you haven't. I haven't told you this one, but I can't wait to hear this.
But this is actually a true story. But this is apparently someone who knows someone. There's a guy, he goes around into pubs and he's done this for years. He goes in and he says, I bet you anything you like. $100, pounds, rands, whatever. Anything. I'll bet you my car that I have your name tattooed on my ass.
And it says, I have your name tattooed on my ass, right? Is that what it says?
It says your name. Your name.
Your name. Okay. That's very clever. Yeah.
It is. And he's apparently won a lot of stuff. Anyway.
And it's kind of like the Christopher Walken short I saw the other day, like a year ago, where he says, I bet you $500 I can do between 3 and 400 push-ups. So he does 4 push-ups, and Christopher goes, pay up. The guy's, you said 3 to 400. He goes, right, 3 to 400. I did 4. And it was like, you got to listen when people speak.
It's like the other joke that says, what's the difference? Let me work this out. What's the difference between an Indian and an African elephant?
What's the difference between an Indian and an African elephant? I have no idea.
Yeah. One's an Indian.
One's an Indian. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And the other's an elephant.
Oh, there you go. There you go. or what's between the elephant's toes? Slow running Indians. Anyway, but I'm pumped. I'm here till Thursday. Tip your waist staff and try the veal.
By the way, on that subject, because it's come up in some show that I watched, I just want to make this point again. Everybody knows this. There are no Indians in North America. I just want to be clear about that.
There's no...
Because people couldn't read a map. They are not Indians. Indians are in India. They're not Indians. I got a friend of mine when I lived in the States, my immigration attorney, that was his thing. He educated me and I took that lesson on board. And I just want to put that out there because repeatedly people talk about Indians. They're not Indians. They literally are not Indians. It's North America or whatever they call the continent. India is over there because some idiot couldn't read a map. Anyway, cool. So, wow.
We call them the indigenous people now.
That's fine. And in Australia, they call them... In Australia, they've got a fantastic term. I'm just going to say this for reference. Don't sue me. Yeah. You're not allowed to call them Aboriginal people. That's gone. They are now known as first Australians.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
First Australians, because they were there first. That's the idea. Even though they've treated them horrendously.
Treating them like last, yes. Well, we did the same thing with the Indians or the indigenous, whatever they're called. Those people over here that had teepees.
Yeah, because
we did the same with them.
Yeah, I mean, the Europeans arrived in North America, and they were. I don't know if they were welcomed or whatever it was, and it turned out that the indigenous people said, "Well, we don't believe in land ownership."
Right.
And the Europeans said, well, we do. Look at that. Boom. Thank you. Anyway, that's another topic for whatever.
For another show. And now
I don't know
like,
enough.
the Seminole Indians here in North America. Well, I guess I don't know, whatever the hell they call themselves the Seminole Indians. I'm calling them Seminole Indians. They're doing very well. They own the Hard Rock Cafe, casinos in Hollywood, Florida. They own all of Hollywood, Florida. They own most of Vegas down like this. And I met Chief Big Bob. Swear to God,
beg your pardon?
That was his name, Chief Big Bob. I met him
Chief
in
Big
Bolivia
Bob.
when we were doing a deal. And I said, Chief Big Bob, what are you doing here? And he says, the Seminoles are looking at the lithium mines. And I was like, whoa. I was like, interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, that's very, very interesting.
Because one day, Stephen, they're going to get their land back.
Well, I think between China will give it back to them.
Right. Exactly. When they call in their loans, we can't pay you. Okay. Well, we'll just take. What do you want? You want Pennsylvania? We'll have Pennsylvania. Thank you.
Yeah, anyway. Give them California first, and then
So crazy. Anyway, you guys are having what is Liberation Day? Nice, good.
Maybe they're calling it that. It's just April 2nd. Yesterday was April Fool's Day.
Do you feel liberated, Stephen? I just wanted to ask.
I got your liberation right here, pal.
Are you sending the statue back?
No, statue staying. Even if it has to go into my backyard with all the other art.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No. This is. I read.
Can I ask you something? There's obviously so much to it. I mean, there's so much. I mean, literally, what do you pick? But I've been watching this, and I do my best not to get into one side. Right. It's very difficult. Obviously, we all have an opinion and a point of view, and it's so crazy. You just want to go, okay, deep breath. Don't jump in. Don't jump in the ring. Just stand and watch.
Right.
And I've managed to do that sort of successfully, not all the time. Certainly, there's a lot of comedic material. I mean, it's brilliant. It just keeps giving every day. I don't have to write anything. I just transcribe what I see at news conferences. It's fantastic. But I have to ask you this. Yes, this is a rhetorical question. And I know it's come up before. What the fuck did Canada do? Why? What? They are the. I mean, are you shitting me? It's like that nerdy kid in the class who brings the apples. Who's such a nice guy. He remembers your birthday, whatever. Or forgets class company. He's that guy. He will do anything for you. Hey, do you need your kids babysat? Whatever. Can I mow your lawn? How you do? You want to come shoot a movie up in our? Yeah, come. We've got beautiful scenery, which actually happens because everything in New York is really shot in Toronto. I'm just saying. And I mean, what the hell? Why? What? Seriously, Canadians. I mean, come on. I just have to ask you. Is there something I'm not seeing? What the hell did Canada do?
When Trump was younger, a Canadian woman wouldn't blow him. So now he's taking it out on the whole country that he couldn't get a blowjob.
Yeah.
Or he couldn't grab. As we know, he's a pussy grabber. He didn't want to. She wouldn't let him grab her.
She wouldn't let him touch. She wouldn't let him touch her maple.
That's right. Wouldn't let her touch her maple syrup. And because of that, now he's annoyed at Canada.
Oh my God.
And now he's going out.
He's very annoyed.
He's
so annoyed.
Yes, he's
annoyed. So annoyed.
Yes,
and every day there's someone else he's annoyed with, and I go, who's next? Micronesia? I don't know. It's what?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Wow.
He should get annoyed at a country that nobody's ever heard of, like Timbuktu. Like Timbuktu is a real place. So what he should do?
Not a country, but it is a place. Yes,
it's a place. Well, he should get annoyed at. I'm sorry. He should get annoyed at a place, maybe not a country like Timbuktu, because most people have never really heard of it or know where it is in Africa, and let them just be pissed off at them, because people would be like, that's not real. And they would just go to what he's doing.
What about Transylvania, where Dracula comes from? That's a place.
Romania.
Oh, and by the way, it's in Romania. There you go.
I just said that. Yeah, you give it mad at Romania too. That would be awesome.
I've
been there actually. We were doing a deal, and they took us to the castle.
You went to Transylvania.
I went to Transylvania because the person we were doing a deal with in Romania took us to meet the guys that wanted to transfer the castle into a theme park. And he was like, would you guys want to invest in that? And I'm like, what are you going to just impale people? I mean, like, I don't get it. So,
Stephen, did you go there or did you remain here?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Silly. I'm going on vacation.
And last week, the vice president and other people, I guess, went to went to Greenland, and in Greenland they were like, "Get the fuck out!"
Oh God,
I love it.
Greenland.
Like, I mean, there's 50,000 people. When you go to Greenland, they all hug you. Like, you go to Greenland, it's like, it's the best therapy. It used to be, you go, I'm an American, they all give you hugs and anything. Now, there was a poll yesterday in The Economist that was saying, because of Trump, when they poll American citizens now and they talk about allies, the Americans are starting to hate the allies. And then follow-up questions, why don't you like, say, Canada or this or that? And people either say, I don't know, or because they charge too much for stuff. But for the last 40 years, everyone's been fine. But now it's like Greenland, Canada.
Can I just say something? Because I do know something about Greenland, and I know it's not owned by Denmark, but it's like a protectorate of Denmark. They give them a shitload of money and say, you stay there. There you go. Because most of the people are kind of from Denmark or wherever, and whatever. And it's all worked out fine. I know they've talked about going independent, but as you said, there's just over 50,000 of them. Little difficult to really kickstart much with tiny pockets of land and that few people. I'm sure they'll figure something out, because apparently they've got a gold mine and whatever mine to the north of them. They've got all the minerals of the world. And as obviously everybody said, oh, that's why we're interested in Greenland. But that's another story. But the thing that really, and I'm sure this has been raised before, I just know this. Denmark, in particular, is a very good ally of the US. A very, 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 very good ally of the US. That I know. And you mentioned that guy who works under Trump.
Couch lover? Couch surfer?
And JD, wow. And he stood there and insulted Denmark. And I just thought, what are you doing? Why? I mean, read a book, watch. Just talk to somebody who, I don't know, who's from Denmark or Greenland, or you've got an ambassador that used to be in Denmark. Why don't I have a chat with him? What was his name? I can't think of him now. But just sit him down and say, tell me, I'm too lazy to read a book. Tell me about Denmark, apart from the fact they make Lego. Go. What do they got? And oh shit, they wow, so they actually helped us with some of our war. They've lost a lot of people for us. Okay, all right. So maybe
1930s Germany, baby. Now we're going to ban things out of the Smithsonian.
You know what,
whatever.
Stephen, what boggles me is that, so there's tons of people, but he's picked on Canada and Greenland stroke Denmark, and I go, but these are your, I mean, seriously, these are your mates. These are your these are guys. The one guy's your godfather to your kids. The other one is you've done shots with him and you've held each other the hair back so that it doesn't, you've done that. You are mates. And you turn around and he's bailed you out of jail, whatever, hasn't told your wife about your other mistress, whatever. That's your mate. He's been there for you. And you stand up and you say, well, he's a piece of shit. What? Why? I don't understand. I mean, it's just, okay. So it's not just me. I mean, I understand there are problems in the world, but seriously, Canada and Denmark / Greenland are not an issue at all, surely. At all.
We're going to have other issues here internally, because he wants to run for a third term. That's number one. Number two,
I heard about that.
They're banning. They're banning books and things out of the Smithsonian. They're going after law firms.
Hang on. I heard something. I thought, I didn't agree with it, but I thought, how is he going to do that? And then I watched a little news clip or something, and they said, all right, so there's a couple of ways apparently he can do it. So he can either try and run for a third term himself, which could be problematic because there's that thing, what's it called? Oh, yes, the U.S. Constitution, which kind of prohibits that.
You mean
what's an amendment 22, isn't it?
22nd Amendment? Yeah, that says you can't run from. You can't.
Aren't
be
you impressed? I know
twice.
that, Stephen. Yes, I know stuff like that. It's amazing because you know why? Because I read. And I've read the Constitution. Seriously, I've read the entire Constitution. And I was on a plane. I was on a plane, and there was nothing to read. And no, seriously, I did. But I thought that's going to be problematic. Someone said, no, there has actually been talk of this. So you switch the running mates. So Vance, he runs, okay, and Trump is his running mate, and then he goes, all right, I'm out of here, and then Trump comes in, and apparently. There's nothing that is actually legal now. That can be done. Yeah. Is that true?
That is true. Or 2/3 of the Congress have to approve it. But I think the Republicans are going to lose that Congress and the Senate at the midterm elections. So that, or we have to be like, just if there's a nuclear war, he would just like the War Power Act. So there's
but it's so unnecessary, Stephen. It's so.
The emperor wants to live forever. And Rome is about to die, and the American people are too stupid to see it, and that's what it is, my friend.
But the thing that I'm sick and tired of hearing, and well, I've heard this. They said, we have to import our patriots now. Yeah, you do, because people who have to do that citizenship test, who decide to go to the U.S., who know the history of the U.S., know what it's about, how it came about, how the states got their names, who was what, which president did what, blah, blah, blah. It's like nobody there. No, I'm not saying everybody, but there's a chunk of people there who don't know where they live and why they are there and where they came from. And this shit that it's not great, it is fucking fantastic. It's an amazing country. That's not even jokes. It's fantastic. There are so many things up until today that you used to be able to do, and everyone just took it for granted. You could just talk shit about the president, talk this, do that, and then someone didn't string you up. But now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but you obviously have mentioned it could, and I thought, nah, Stephen's full of shit. But every time anybody even slightly disagrees with him, bang, he's the worst, he's shit, he's crap. Fuck. If you're a dad, imagine this now, you're dad and you've got and all the moms go and you've got 20 kids to look after, and the kids all going to say stupid shit about you. Hey, look at this old white guy. Do you respond to all that? Do you really? Is that what you do? Someone's already responded to my comment now, but I'm just saying that's what you do. You don't respond to it. And I just go, I've said this before. I even said it to a friend of mine who worked on the Trump campaign. I said to him, you know what? This is before all this nonsense and whatever. And I said, it was actually in 2019 when he was up against Biden. And I said, honestly, and obviously we didn't know the COVID thing was coming and all that. But I said, you know, the weird thing about Trump, just to be perfectly objective about it, then, anyway, not now, then, he's done okay. If he could just not respond to every single criticism, just do your damn job. Anybody, any manager, any boss, anybody in a senior leadership position, in fact, leaders, any leader is going to get criticized by people. It comes with the job. So if he could just not respond to that, you know what? I think he could swing. He could do well. There were some good things that were happening, but this round is there's nothing. I don't know. It's frustrating for me because America is a great country. Right now it is. You don't have to make it great again. It already is. It is a nation of immigrants. It is already diverse. It's got all of that going for it. It's not a monarchy. It's not a dictatorship. The founding fathers, as we mentioned, were quite specific about that. That's why you have 3 branches of government, equally powerful, that keep an eye on each other. And I keep seeing, and you've said to me, oh, this is all going to get broken down. I've gone, no, it's not going to do that. Oh, shit. Look at that. He's just done it. And he's trying. He's trying to impeach judges who really do what it says on their letter of appointment. Make sure that shit doesn't go down, and keep an eye on the executive and the legislative. And there you go. And don't get involved in politics. Just follow the letter of the law, which is what they've done. And then it becomes a personal thing. And then it's like, have we got shit on him? And now you've got, just jumping across the border, Mark Carney, who, by the way, is wow, we got helicopters flying over. Oh, they've come to arrest me. They're
coming to get you. Watch yourself.
They are. Mark Carney, who, if you go and if you care and you find out where he's come from and what he's done, I mean, he worked at the Bank of England. He is a smart economist. He is a smart, calm, rational man, and he has not attacked Trump at all. Certainly, not personally. No personal attacks. He's just responded to what has been dished up to him, and he's still been very calm. And yet, the punches that he's taken, he's gone, okay, well, then we're going to do this. He hasn't used personal language. He hasn't exploded like certain people. He hasn't gone worst ever, destroy, crap. He's used adult language like you'll find in books, you know, those things called books, which he reads. And it's fantastic. Paper books or online, whatever your tech background is. And every time, what they've done now is Trump's entire team, not necessarily even Trump. It's like he's got this whole posse of people around him. Yeah, Carney's a shit. And listen, didn't he plagiarize his thesis at Oxford? And it's like they've gone into some archive and said, we need shit on this guy. Did he ever, I don't know, did he ever go to one of those parties and do a blackface? He didn't do that. Okay. Did he ever say anything racist? Did he cheat on anything? Just get me some leverage. Get me some leverage. And immediately within days, they've got leverage on the guy. Apparently there's something in his thesis that looks familiar to somebody else's work. And you know what? That was in 1995 when he was a kid.
We're good. Yeah, I think we're good.
But I'm saying it was 30 years ago. And the people at Oxford have said, no, we have a vetting process. We're fine. They are the people. They are the people that marked his paper and assessed everything he did. And according to them, everything's fine. But apparently that doesn't satisfy the people that are not happy with being not called out by Carney, but he's just responding to something. But that's just one example of what I mean. It's just like the guy is being polite. You're punching him and his country in the face. You are punching him. You are accusing him. Shit like, we're sick and tired of Canada leeching off us, and Europe, we're going to sick and tired of bailing them out. None of that's even true, by the way. But if people respond to your bullshit, they're not allowed to respond to the bullshit. So goodbye, free speech. So if you accuse me of something, I say, Stephen, you slept with my wife, and you go, no, I'm fucking in Texas. Oh, well, how the fuck would I have gotten to South Africa and slept with your wife? I go, and then you respond. That's insulting to you. So you respond, and I go, Stephen's a piece of shit. He's the worst ever. But that's what they're doing. This is playground talk. And I go, and it's depressing for me because Trump's going to go one day, and hopefully all this will blow over one day and things will grow up. I mean, I don't know.
Back to normal.
You've said to me, maybe not. I don't know. And you're just going to go, what the actual fuck was that? Can we stop having children in the White House? And the country was there before him, and it'll be there after him. It's fine. It's got this great highway network, which, by the way, just on a side note, I found out recently that the highway system in America is very well designed. It really is.
It's beautiful. Interstate, sure.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful system. Built in the 50s, right? 50s and 60s. Am I right? Yeah. Beautiful, but it's very well designed. I mean, a lot of the roads were already there, and they just kind of put tar in them, but still they and then they added, and it's a very efficient grid system. And obviously, our road system here in this country, it's the only one in Africa, is based on the American interstate system, just by the way.
As it should be. But let me just say this about
so what I'm saying is, Stephen, what I'm saying is there are many great things about the country that are and will be. So I don't know what this shit is where his people are creating this idea that somehow America's under attack and everybody's ripping us off and screwing us, and you go, what the fuck? What are you on about? This is not
1930s.
True.
That's the 1930s.
This is not true.
1930s.
This is not true.
It doesn't matter. It's the 1930s. Same playbook.
I mean, everything. Yes, they're little things you can work out, but and you're a money guy, you're an investment guy, finance guy, business guy. So I have a layman's sort of understanding of that, and I come from an accounting family, and so I've got some idea of it. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that the deals, for instance, the deal with America, with the US, with Canada and Mexico, this deal that everybody thinks is ripping America off. I just have to confirm something. That was signed and negotiated by Trump in 2018,
yeah.
I think.
That's correct.
2018. Yeah. So he has peddled this idea that somehow America is getting screwed by Biden, who, by the way, actually just carried on his trade policies. Am I wrong?
No,
so
right.
the policies, the trading policies that America currently has, I don't think Biden changed much. He just said, "Thank you, Mr." They were all Trump's policy. So so they go, "Oh, Biden this and Biden that," and he did this, and I go, "Look, I mean, I'll give you, the man looked like he needed to sit down in that debate. I'll give you that. He looked tired, okay, and that's another conversation entirely. But the truth is, if you were affected during the Biden term by trade policies that affected your business or whatever, this is what Trump put in place. Mm-hmm. Am I wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong.
You're correct. You're 100% correct.
Okay, so if I know that on the other side of the world, why don't more people? I know a lot of people that do know that, obviously, but there seem to be a lot of people that don't know that. And if you tell them that, they go, "Yo, Biden." I mean, you're giving the guy too much credit. He isn't responsible for everything. I mean, every time I watch one of these things and someone says, "But what about this? What about that?" Yeah, well, it was Biden.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Biden. So
I feel like what's his wife's name? Jill Biden.
Jill.
I feel like she's going to stand up one day and say she's going to pull a Will Smith on one of these guys. Get his name. Get my husband's name out of your mouth. I mean, seriously.
I love that. That'd be awesome.
Don't you?
So
wouldn't it be?
That'd be nice, but
Jill.
It won't happen. So here's the problem.
It's like the punching bag for all their bullshit. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Here's the issue. There was a poll done a couple months ago, and we talked about this on Sermon from the German of all shows.
Yeah.
That young people under 30 want to live under a dictatorship because they think it would be better. That being said, Donnie is offering them a dictatorship, the emperor. And as I said before, I don't know, 50, 60, let's just say half the American population is stupid. They don't read. They don't know anything. They're too busy on TikTok and Instagram. They stick their head in the sand like an ostrich. The other half that has a clue is hoping that, to what you said earlier, that it all turns around. Unfortunately, if you read a history book, and most people won't because, once again, stupid, this is the 1930 playbook with the little guy with a mustache. You attack your allies, you attack this, you attack that, and then you have all these people around you that basically kiss your ass, and you can do no wrong. And I said this yesterday on Funny Haha with Greg Shapiro, is that at some point, Mr. Trump is going to pass away because he's old. I mean, unless he's, the devil and he's going to live forever. I don't know. But let's say, what is he, 70-something or 80? Let's say
he's 78, I think. Yeah.
Okay, 78. So the average life expectancy in America for a male is somewhere in the 80s. So let's say he does get a third term, but he'll pass away because he's just old. J.D. Vance, whoever steps in. At some point, the Democrats will get, I don't know, a candidate with balls that will be able to go head-to-head with Trump and win. What my biggest thing is, then all these Republicans are complacent, if you will, in January 6th of 2020, the Trump breaking all these laws, all these things that are going on, he's chasing law for all this stuff that's going on. So do we have, for our own people then who are complacent in all of this because they think we're getting into the 1930s again, do we have a Nuremberg type trial against the Republicans that were complacent, that let Trump get away with everything? I mean, the Democrats going to say, okay, this is never going to happen again. Now we have to make an example out of all of you. So are we going to have these type of trials where these people are going to go on and like, here's all the laws you broke, and it's going to be like, you need to go to jail or you need to have your asset. So that's my concern, that we're literally history repeating itself, and everybody's like, no, it's great, it's wonderful.
I think what concerns me as someone who is, and I say this patronizingly or whatever you want to say, I'm a big fan of the American experiment. I am. Right. I lived there. And what floors me is all the people I knew there, with some notable exceptions, are like, what the hell's going on? They're like you. They've traveled, they've read, they know their history, they know that America didn't save Europe. America helped. Right. America was part of a team. It was definitely a team effort. But, oh, well, you're speaking English now. If it wasn't for us, you'd be speaking German. Jesus, I just go, why is there this need to say you did everything? You were part of a team. You were part of the team. It's fine. It's okay. You were one of several nations that assisted in the elimination of the Nazis. And yes, you were there and you helped with. Why do you have to be the only guy? This is what fascinates me. Now, the smart people, as you mentioned, you don't think there are too many of them, but I met a lot of them and they know that, but a lot don't. And I just go, that's depressing for me, because you've got a guy now in office who, okay, so he's having a moment. He's pissing everybody off, and he's doing, actually, to be honest, a lot of what he promised in his campaign. So I have to give him that. He is doing that. He's following through. People said, he's just kidding. He won't do that. He's not going to do that. And he's doing all of it. Okay. He's joking about Greenland. Not really. He's not joking. He's joking about Canada. Not really. He's serious. He said, I am not joking for a third term. I am not joking. There are ways to do it. And people say, he's taking the piss. The problem for me is that once he goes, as you say, life, longevity.
Old age,
Once he's gone, and let's say you get in, I don't know, Mother Teresa, you get the most fantastic Democrat or proper. By the way, this is not anti-Republican. The Republican, I think, if it wasn't for Donald Trump, me personally, if I was a citizen, I would probably tend to the Republicans.
I agree.
What they used to be, what they're really
The Ronald Reagan Republicans.
Not a problem. Small government, pro-business, all that. I have no issue with that.
Ronald Reagan, Richard Nixon, all those guys. Those kind of guys.
But the proper, the genuine, what you have now is you've got the Democrats, you've got the Republicans, and you've got the Trumpers. And they are three separate factions or whatever segments. But the thing is, he's going to go, and this is what's sad for me, because America was born out of a need to get away from tyranny, to create a non-monarchistic society. It was a place that where everyone could be. You can do whatever the fuck you wanted. No, yes, we will build a fucking bridge under the Boston Harbor. I don't care if the Europeans say we can't do it. We're going to stick a man on the moon. There was the sense of possibility. A lot of mistakes were made, but it was almost like, and I say this in a good way, like a giant kindergarten. Let's fucking do stuff. Let's get over there and explore and create things. And that, for me, is great. And then that worked. And then the country made money. It was successful. And then it kind of became the world police, which I have no problem with, because it had the resources, but it also had the mental fortitude and understanding. What is that? Is that you?
That's the lawn guy. Go ahead.
Is that the lawn guy? Okay. So in other words, you had a guy in charge of the world, the leader of the free world, who was a genuine guy, who had the values that you did, and you thought, great, he's got the big guns, we're with him, Team America, go, world police. Hey, Matt and Trey Parker. I mean, you remember the movie. But anyway, the point is, fine, no problem. But now, if that role, if America pulls out of that role, which is what Trump wants, you defend yourself, do whatever, blah, 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 we're out of it. My problem is A, power vacuum, B, America will come back, and then you'll have this brand new leader says, hey, listen, guys, they'll go, fuck, I'm really, wow. We had these kids in the office here, and they just literally, they let rip, and they were chatting war plans on texts, and it was fucking crazy. No, seriously, we're really sorry about that. You know us. Come on. We're America. You know us. Come on. We've fought wars together. We put men on moon. We've got big stuff. Come on. Come on, you piece of shit. Let's have some fun. And at that point, Europe's going to go, no, fuck you. You see this bruise? You see this bruise? You see this bruise? You see this bruise? That was you. That was the fucker that was in the office. We don't trust you anymore. You know what? Why don't you go back there? We'll give you a call if we need you. Okay. You have a nice life and fuck off. And that's what worries me. That there's this, yes, you'll have someone else completely different, but they're thinking, but it's the same office. And you've got the same people outside. What happens if the people don't like you and they vote another one like was in before? We don't know. That could happen. And it's happened twice. Not once.
Well, the first time Donnie had adults in the room. Now he doesn't have adults in the room. He's got people that just kiss his ass, and they're trying to make it. As I keep going back to the 1930s. So if you never want to talk about, read a history book. That's
1933 to be specific. Yeah.
Yes. But the issue really is, and becomes, on a global scale. You look at the greenback, which is what everything's backed by, if you will, the world's economies. Everybody uses the dollar, whatever.
Yes.
Now the Chinese are like, whoa, you can use the RMB. No one's going to use the ruble because the ruble is bullshit. No one's going to use anything.
Yeah, it's bullshit. I agree. Yeah.
Like the brick thing was crap. Like, oh, we'll do brick stuff. Not happening. The only thing that has any economic power is China. And China then becomes, if you will, the greenback of the world. That's going to be very interesting. So we are going to go the way of China, if you will, because the FT did a great story the other day. The Chinese are looking at what Donald Trump is doing as the Mao revolution, and they give 5 points of Mao's revolution and 5 points of what Trump is doing. And it literally is everything Mao did. And they also gave the points of 1933. But it's very interesting. So a lot of the people that came here, the ones to the universities here from Europe and Asia, are like, we've seen this movie, and they've all read a book, and they know the movie. And we teach get taught education. We don't do that here. So people don't know. They don't even know who Mao is. So they're looking at what Trump's doing, and it's like, oh, okay, we get it. So we're going to become an isolation country and go back to isolationism. We're going to have to count on ourselves. Things are going to cost 10 to 100 times more. And all the oligarchs are going to be like, oh, look how wonderful. And the regular people are going to be like, this is bullshit. And once again, the military and all these other people, the spooks are us guys, at some point, some of these people actually know what the Constitution says. At some point, some of them be like, no. You know what I mean? So we're literally going backwards in time, not forward. And great, if that's what 80 some odd million people voted for because you think it's better, that's wonderful. But when you have your fellow citizens then, because they want to cut Social Security and they want to cut healthcare, and they just fired 10,000
all those people. All those people they fired.
JFK Jr. is like, oh, we have to worry about respiratory diseases. And we're like, hey, but you just fired 6,000 doctors that are working on it. Yeah, don't worry about that. So it's like you talk one thing out of your mouth and then you're full of shit. So it's like I said, I'm all for government cuts, but let's take a look at who we're cutting first and go, hey, you know what? We probably need the 6,000 researchers because they're going to make sure that we stay healthy. Now, we may not need the secretary. We may not need a janitor, whatever it might be. But instead of going mass firings like they did at the Veteran Affairs and all these other
80,000 people. 80,000 people.
Then they realize, oh, we have to hire them back because we actually need them. Same with Social Security. It's kind of like, let's go line by line. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. You're not going to, if what you're doing is making you look dumb, and that includes Elon and all his Goji, whatever the hell they're called, and Trump and all of your people. If you said, listen, over the next 12 months, we're going to make cuts, and you have all your cabinet members, when you get into your post, your job is to look at the budget, look at your staff and go, okay, where can we cut? And then we cut. And then when we say we saved X dollars, when everybody goes and we count, like I think Musk said we saved 500 billion, and then they did an audit of it. Like papers did, it was 4 or 5 billion. So he added too many zeros. And he's like, oh, I made a mistake. And I'm probably not going to always be right. It's like, dude, then shut up. And your website's wrong. So if we did it proper.
Yeah, but you're not going to.
I'm okay with it. But to do it the way we're doing it, my concern is more, like I've seen this movie for the last 10,000 years. What happens? It does not end well for the people, the country, anything. And there's where my concern is. And it doesn't end well for the world because somebody's going to say, hey, they're fucking morons over there. We can take advantage of it. China's going to be like, you know what, Taiwan, let's see what happens. America's not going to do anything. Russia's going to be, by the end of next year, rolling through Ukraine, heading over to Poland. Why? Because America's not going to do anything. So it's not going to be good. And then at some point, America's either going to have to go back to what it was, which is become the policeman of the world, or pray to God that after these countries conquer every place else on the planet, and they're looking at, there's this one little piece of property that we haven't conquered yet, guess where we're going? And that's what the concern is. And no one, as I said this yesterday, no one thinks past noon. If you don't, and the Chinese do, they think 50 to 100 years out. We have to start thinking 50 years, 100 years out, not past noon.
But listen, Stephen, I have to ask you, all these people that are getting fired by him, and it seems like there are a lot. Are they going to stick with him?
Oh, a lot of them. And there's an article last week in the FT or in the Economist or Journal, I forgot which, but it was talking about in Utah, predominantly Republic, and not a big percentage of these people worked for the government that got fired. So when the senator went there to talk how great Trump was, all these people from Veterans Affairs and all these different government agencies that worked in Utah that voted Republican, crucifying this guy. I give him credit for showing up, but he was like, "Oh no, you're mistaken." The guy's mistaken. He goes, "I was fired," and he shows the email. So like, they didn't. Once again, they're not thinking through their process. I think the midterm elections are going to be very telling.
So you think there'll be a change?
Well, here's the problem. If the Democrats get in and they start with all this woke bullshit and this pussy crap, hold on a second. As the guy goes by, there you go. And they start with this.
Maybe it's you making all the noise. I thought it was me.
No. It's my C-130 witty to get me out of here to go catch the spaceship to Pluto. That's what that is.
I thought it was me. It's obviously you.
I'm actually at the airport. This is a movable background.
Elon is going to deport you to Mars, Stephen. Be careful.
Pluto. I own the planet. Anyway.
Pluto. Okay.
There you go.
Wow.
So that's my spaceship's warming up. So what's going to end up happening is we have all this Hazarai. And it's not good. And we have to figure out how to get back to normal. And that's where the problem is. We're not getting back to normal. And that's going to be a big issue. And I don't know if they thought through it.
Well, okay. So, all right. Well, hopefully there'll be a change, and that's good. I have to ask. Remember, I said I was just going to pose questions and see what pretend to be stupid, which is not difficult for me actually. This is something. Explain something to me. I mean, I know how tariffs work. I know a lot of people don't. I know how tariffs work, and it's not paid for by the Chinese. It's, for example, if goods are coming from China, it's paid for by American consumers. This is basic page first day at school stuff. We all know that. But there's something which I find quite interesting, because he's gone on this tangent about car tariffs, about tariffing cars from coming from overseas. Now, when I lived in the US, I remember I looked at a few cars. I mean, I ended up buying, I think I bought a Ford, which was nice. It wasn't too expensive, which was ostensibly an American car. It was made, Detroit or wherever it was made. So it was made. But then what I realized, I'll cast my mind back. When all these tariff things came up, I thought, hang on a second. So he says America's got plenty of cars and there's a car industry. Fair enough. Okay. I'm not sure if that's true, but let's just say it is. Let's just say there's car manufacturing plants right across the country. But here's the thing I want to ask you something about. Are you putting tariffs on the car or the things that the car's made of? Because
the cars are made of.
I do know, for instance, off the top of my head, that 60-70% of the semiconductor industry is in Taiwan. And every car on this planet uses circuitry, components, chips. So that means pretty much every car in the world has got imported stuff in it. Just that, I'm just talking about the gadgets, the GPS, all of that. All modern cars have got that stuff in it. So how are you going to not put tariffs on cars that are built in America if they've got foreign components in them? Go. Tell me how that works.
It's very simple. The Financial Times had a story about this 3 weeks ago. They took the GMC Sierra. It's a $45,000 to $75,000 truck, and they broke it down into how much is, as if it will, American built, and how much is foreign components. 60% of that truck is foreign components from South Korea, Japan, China. It gave a whole list of it. GM says with the tariffs, now the truck will be somewhere between 75,000 and like 150. They said, wait, we're not going to make it anymore. It'll be too expensive. So these tariffs, and now they're like, we're going to tariff cars. Great. If you want to put a tariff on like a Rolls Royce that's built in London and sent here, fine. If you want to put a tariff on a Bugatti or whatever, fine, knock yourself out. But when you start putting on a GMC or a Ford, or
which is made in the US.
Well, kind of, sort of. But you know, I'm saying sort of. There's people and robots here that put it together.
You know what I mean? Assembled.
Yeah, no, right. Even BMW has a plant in North Carolina. The problem is that somewhere between 40% and 80% of your parts are not made in America. So while you think you may be doing something, you're really going to hurt people that need to buy a car or whatever it be. So you're going to see a lot of pre-owned vehicles start getting sold. The other issue is
that's what tariffs. I thought. It's what I thought. Yeah, so damn.
It's not. It doesn't do any good. Now the reciprocal tariffs, I like that concept. Where, you know, like, listen, if you're going to charge us 10%, if we send something, we'll charge you 10%. I think you can work with that. But just to say we're going to do 25, 35, whatever percent across the board and not really think how that affects anybody, that's a bad thing. And like I said, right now, the pain is people are starting to feel it when the joke is about eggs because Trump said, I'm going to bring down eggs. And eggs have gone from $4 a carton to 10. So he hasn't brought down eggs.
Oh, sorry, Stephen. I heard a great joke. They said, why are eggs so expensive in the US?
Why?
Because Congress is full of chickens.
I like it. That's good. I'm going to use that one later.
Carry up. Yep. Yeah.
So what ends up happening is people are starting to feel the pain. And when I talk people, I mean Republicans. Now, there's a few I'm sure you're going to be diehard Republicans and MAGA people. That's fine. But when you see these Republican senators go to their meetings and congressmen go to your constituent meetings and they're being told don't go because it's not good optics, and they still go and they're getting crucified, which means at the midterm, the family that voted to say Republican is going to be like, the Republicans suck right now. I'm going to vote Democrat. Now the Democrats, to go back to my point earlier, need to get off the woke fucking shit, and they better start figuring out how you're going to get the economy and America back on track. And that better be your message, not this transgender bullshit, not this other bullshit. You better fucking figure out how you're going to go and say, we need to get America back on track. Here's how we're going to do it. Here's our plan. Boom, 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 boom. And you better lay out something that makes sense and keep off the fucking woke, the cancel, and all this other fucking bullshit. And you better get the rights back. And if you don't, you're SOL.
Yeah. Can I suggest another option, which if somebody is really smart, they might think about this.
Sure.
I hear you. The woke thing and all that, the trans this and all that. I'm like, just fuck. But you do realize that is they made that a central part of who they are.
No,
I'm just saying part of now, but hang on.
Needs to go bye-bye.
Now this is where you get. I mean, I know Gavin Newsom is trying to walk it back now, which is interesting. I thought, what? Sorry, you made what? You made all these concessions, and now I don't know. Shit, I don't know. Anyway, whatever. I understand why he's doing it because of what you said. He's trying to walk it back. That's great. But I think if I was a voter, what would be more credible for me is if a proper Republican stood up and said, in other words, almost like someone in the middle, a centrist, because right now you've got where you left on your side. So you've got the Democrats over here who've been pulled to the left. Then you've got the Trumpers, and it is, I'm of the opinion, you've got this group in the middle. I guess you can call them maybe libertarian, stroke Republican, old guard. This group here, those are the people. If you could come up with that message, be in that position. In other words, take a proper Republican message. I'm not saying if I was a voter, I'd go Democrat or Republican. But right now, the Democrats, and with respect, they have been, as you mentioned, tainted by all that stuff. Right. A lot of the Republicans have been pulled into the Trumpism camp. So you need a proper, I would say, a third option. A good old-fashioned Republican. That's what I think. I don't know. That's just my opinion, but I don't know how you would. In other words, someone like that fellow who runs the Lincoln Project, that Rick Wilson guy. Someone like that. Someone with a brain. Someone who is a proper Republican, not this bullshit Project 25 or whatever the hell it is. A proper conservative. Because I'm of the opinion, and I may be talking out of my ass here, but I've been to 31, 32 states. I've met a lot of people. I'm a tremendous number of people. No, fuck that. I've met a lot of people. Not many people know that. I could just go on. Huge numbers of people. I've met all these people, and I'm of the opinion that generally, most of the Americans I've met tend to a conservative point of view, with the exception of some of the big cities. but most of your bulk of people, they want things to be like this. They want their shit not to change too much. They just want to work the job, have security, not send too much money overseas, keep the bills low, just don't change too much. And I think that's true of people probably around the world. I'm saying that's what you need to do. They must be so like here. They must be so like they've been smacked about by so much bullshit from the left and the right. Can we just get back to the middle? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Oh, fuck that. So I don't know how you tailor that image, but I don't know. I think that would be like I don't know, like a Mitt Romney or something. I don't know, not him precisely, but you see where I'm going with that. Something like that. Huh?
The two Democrats out of Pennsylvania, the senator that wears shorts all the time and the governor of Pennsylvania.
Shapiro and what's his name? The big guy. What's his name?
The big guy. Fetterman. Those two guys could actually run as Democrats because they've never been like real Democrats. They actually speak like a centrist. Like they're in the middle, and they actually between the both of them could take on Couch Boy and Orange Man. I think they would do well. The question is going.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, the question is really going to be: will the Democratic Party get their head out of their asses? Chuck Schumer, who's the whatever over there, every time something happens, Chuck's like, "Well, this is an avocado. This is an avocado, and it's going to go up. It's an avocado." Oh, I don't have the glasses. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. So Chuck needs to, as one of my friends would say on Wall Street, shut the fuck up and sit down. And you're going to need to start getting people that can, when they speak, people go, that makes sense. When these Democrats speak, I look at that and I'm like, well, Trump, you're in. You got nothing. Now, when Shapiro and Fetterman speak, I'm like, there's your competition. Gary Newsom, he's an idiot. I'm sorry.
I'm going to jump in for a second before I forget this. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to jump here quickly. Okay, I agree with you. Fetterman is just a bit odd. I like him, but he's a bit odd.
I like that.
No. I know you and I do, but it's like Bernie. I love Bernie, but Bernie's too much for people. So you've got to look at the ordinary person. People.
Bernie's he was never a contender.
Stephen, people don't have imagination in any country. We know that. They don't have political imagination.
The Jew. There you go.
Hey, what?
Like Shapiro, like the Jew.
Yeah, but that's the problem. They don't have. I would say most people in most countries don't have political imagination. So yes, Shapiro would be an option, but they're like, I don't know if they're sophisticated enough for that. Having said that, I watched him on a show recently, and I was not happy because he was asked certain questions, and he was just firmly in campaign mode. And I went, just shut the fuck up and answer the question without talking about all the shit you've done. Don't do that. Be normal. And I would say that unglued me a bit because I've seen him do good stuff. I've heard him say very intelligent things, normal things, but this was disappointing for me. I don't know if he's gearing up for something, but he was in patronizing campaign mode, and it was very off-putting. I would say what people want is just someone. I'm not saying I agreed with him, but like George Bush II. And the reason why I say that is I remember at the time when he was running, people said, no, Al Gore's going to do it. And I asked someone who voted for him, what is it you like about him? And they said, he's relatable. He is relatable. Now, what I'm saying is we've said this about Trump. We've said this about all the candidates. I do honestly believe that at the time, the way he ran his campaign, Trump was coming across to the majority of people is more relatable. Forget the policies and the bullshit that he was talking about. And Kamala Harris was looking like that librarian that was telling you to turn the music down. And you need someone. The American political system is unique. You wouldn't be able to conduct a campaign like this in Europe, for example. A politician is got to be seen as fairly elite, as almost on a higher level. The American system is different. We need our guy here. He's got to be here, which I enjoy. I like that. It's part of the history. It's fuck the kings, fuck the monarchies. We want a democracy is for the people, by the people. That's what it is. It's here. It's not up here. It's here. We want you here. If you look at the way politicians are in Europe, they're almost ornate. They're very ornate people. They look ornate. There's a lot of pomp, rigor, and the American system, you have Trump out there with the rallies. serving McDonald's. There's no ways you'd have these European leaders doing that. What I'm saying is that's what you need. You need someone with a brain, but who is he's with the people. You can't have an oddball. I like Fetterman, but he is an oddball, Stephen. You have to. He's fringe. He's a bit weird. Now
after this,
I like that. I like that, but I'm saying if you want a majority of people who don't necessarily do podcasts and talk and broadcasters and lead stuff, the ordinary guy who don't bother me. I've got my kids, my wife, my life. Just let me just put my X on the paper. He doesn't want fuss, and I would put to you that he won't vote for a Fetterman. He'll vote for someone like a Fetterman who's just a little bit, well, first of all, shorter, and just he has to read his prompts and stuff, and he's weird. You and I don't have a problem with that. That's not the issue. But we are not we are not the majority of people. Right. I'm saying if you want to win an election, you've got to be ordinary. You've got to be relatable, but you've got to have something clear cut. Now, I'm saying to you, you don't want to make the mistake where you put someone through that is so fancy, like a Kamala Harris, that no one can relate to. By the same token, you've got Trump, who really relates to the people, but he's got some shit strange ideas. You've got to find someone else. So you've got to have almost a combination of those two. Good luck finding them. Shapiro is an option. I agree. But I am saying, for me personally, I don't agree with everything he says, but like a John McCain. He's dead. Like a John McCain. Huh? I know he is. but what I loved about John McCain is I remember when he was campaigning against Obama, you remember the incident. There was a woman going on about Obama, and he defended Obama. Correct. John McCain stood up as a Republican fighting against a Democrat candidate. That's what a gentleman he was. He stood up and he defended Obama. Now, can you imagine Trump doing that? What I'm saying is you need a proper gentleman who has gone through stuff, who is a normal, decent, ambitious man or woman.
I can do it. I'll run.
But you know what I'm saying? That's what you need. That's the guy or the woman you need. You need someone like that who calls bullshit wherever it is. So if you were a Republican right now and you were prepared to take a risk and you stood up and you said, like what's his name? Kinzinger, for instance. Is it Kinzinger? Right. Someone like that. You need someone like that who calls out bullshit, is still a Republican, right? Calls
Liz
out
Cheney.
This bullshit.
Liz Cheney would be good then.
Liz Cheney would be good, something like that. But that's it would as I say, I'm no expert, but I've my experience would be, can we just get a bit of some normalcy to the whole thing? Someone a bit normal. Someone
I think
by not some weird ass reality show guy or some woman who, with respect, I mean, if you look at Kamala's history, I'm not post-morteming him now, but if you've got half a brain and you go back and look at the policy decisions and things she did, she was all over the place. And the problem with someone like that is, I agree with her now, but her opponents are going to go through all of that stuff and completely unglue her. So you need someone who's got a consistent history. Good luck finding one, but I'm saying John McCain had that. And you need someone like that. Someone alive, preferably.
Yeah. Well, John McCain dead is better than what we have now.
Absolutely. No question. I'd vote for him.
I'll take John McCain dead. I'll vote for John McCain dead.
Yeah, for sure.
But the problem is, by 2028, when this is all done and said, which is 3 years away, it may be too late. And that's what my concern is the dollar will have fallen to nothing. America is going to be some third world piece of shit country. And we'll probably be on the brink of wars everywhere, because the police of the globe, no one's going to protect. When China decides to invade Taiwan, no one's going to protect them.
No, I don't think Russia
rolls, when Russia rolls through, when Russia next year rolls through the Ukraine and into Poland, no one's going to stop them, not even NATO, because they're going to be like, but you said, and it'll be too late. It'll be exactly what it was in World War II. And then whether Trump stays or goes, whoever the president is, by 2030, there'll be so much pressure on him that we will have to break our isolationism, third world country status, and become a superpower again. And then it's all going to start again. So if we don't change our thinking sooner rather than later, that's the outcome for the planet. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, why? If I'm China right now, I'm like, no one's going to go nuclear. Maybe Missile Boy will, but he's not that stupid. I mean, he's stupid, but he's not that stupid. His sister, on the other hand, rules that country with an iron fist. She's not.
Oh, doing North Korea.
She's very intelligent. Yeah, it's Missile Boy. And his sister's very smart. And a lot of people, if you read stuff on them, more people are afraid of her than him.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And I've seen interviews with her, and I've seen her, and I'm like, yep, I get it. So she's not stupid. She realizes if their little missile takes off, people are going to shoot back, and that kills the country.
They'll be done.
Right. So they're not going to fire. China goes into Taiwan. Well, South Korea is not going to do anything. Japan's not going to do it. No one's going to do anything, right? Australia's going to be like, it's not our problem.
Two things.
So Taiwan.
Two things.
Go ahead.
Two things. One, have you noticed how many people around the White House and in Congress all wear red ties? I don't know if that's just me or if you noticed that.
No, they're all dressed like Trump now. They wear a blue suit, white shirt, and red ties. They're all doing that.
What is so that what is that? You've seen that too?
That's the new uniform. That's the new uniform. That's the 1933 uniform.
Nothing North Korean about that at all.
Right.
And the other thing which I find, and on the subject of North Korea, which is interesting, is so I mean we know this. What's his name? Kim Jong. What's his Kim Jong Un.
Kim Jong-un. Yep. Kim Jong-un. Yeah.
Him. He's got those guys that wander around with him and tell him how great he is all the time, and oh, you're great. And I mean I know that. I know that, and
everybody does.
Trump's got the same thing, except they're not around him. They're on every other newscast. And what's really interesting is the wording is identical. And by the way, I have one final question. Where does Trump start or end and that White House spokeswoman begin? I just want to know. Because they seem... it's ridiculous. She's like a North Korean newsreader. She's like a North Korean user. Oh, Trump, he's great. He's good. Everything he does is fantastic. It's going to be amazing. He's brilliant. And don't say anything about him, because if you do, I'll deport you to, where do we send them? El Salvador.
Right.
Fuck.
You hear about the guy, you hear about the American citizen they actually deported to El Salvador, and now they can't get him back.
And they're like, oh, shit. What did we do? Yeah. And apparently
they're like, now we can't get him back. And I'm like, you can't.
Am I right? He had protected status. He
had everything. He had
the paperwork. He had
everything. And they said, "Oh, we made a mistake." And I'm like, "Let me get this straight. You made a mistake, and you can't bring him back." And the problem is, you probably can't sue the government. But if you could, I'd be like, "I'm going to sue you."
Stephen,
and this is what I'm saying. It's a joke.
Putting sugar in someone's coffee who doesn't take sugar, that's a mistake.
Right,
this isn't a mistake. This is an Armageddon style fuck up. Wow. And what do you say to his family?
They don't say anything. They didn't apologize. It's kind of like the Slack, where they invited the journalist. None of them took responsibility. And all the press chicks said, the blonde chick that you're talking about said, well, the mission was successful. So, yes, we are getting the press conferences are very North Korean.
We're at an end now. I would love to carry on, but I've got to go. But I will say, and we didn't even talk about that ridiculous
next week
text thing. Jeez.
We'll do that next week. We'll do that next week.
That is all I can say. All I can say is someone who has a show. I have a radio show. I just want to thank that administration and those people, because the comedy it just keeps giving. It does. They're the best. It's the most. You think of a weird scenario and you snap on the newscast and you go, look, he's doing it. That's exactly what that. There we go. Deny, confuse. It wasn't me. It was the other guy.
You gotta love it.
It's brilliant. And you know what's weird? I just want to say one thing, and because don't worry, Stephen, there'll be something new next week. What I find fascinating about that is, if you want something to go away, you should probably not talk about it. That's all I'm saying. Just say, we fucked up and move on. Anything, no comment. But because it was a fuck up. I'm just saying it was I don't care if it was emojis or war plans or attack plans or whatever. It was just, can you just say you fucked up? Just say we fucked up. Sorry. We're really sorry to all the people. I was in the military. I just want to say sorry. I was in the military. I was actually in office in the military. And all I can say is, if I had done something like that or been party to that or even knew about it, there would have been deep, deep shit. And all I can say is, the further you go up the food chain in the military, your fuck ups become bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So if you fuck up on a command level, people die. I'm just saying. The fact that no one died is just a fucking miracle. It's a miracle. And if they could just, you know what I think, if they could have just said, you know what, this obviously we want to just say to all the servicemen and women from the U.S. military, we are really sorry about that. We're all going to give you $100 and free tokens to McDonald's for a week. We are so sorry about that. Next news item. Yeah. And that's it. That's all I had to say. That's it. I can tell you, people would have gone, that was a fuck up. Yeah, okay. All right, fine. They said they're sorry. That's all they had to do, because just own the damn thing. You fucked up. Yeah. You son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There you go. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you all next week. Is this going to be our new time now? Wednesdays?
Sure. For now. We'll see. Okay. We'll make it up as we go along, as we usually do.
There you go. All right, everybody. We'll be back someday next week. Have a great day. We'll see you all next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe, or catch us wherever you get your podcasts, or here on YouTube. Cheers, everybody.
Thank you so much for listening to this Old Woods Robb Vega, whatever the hell he wants to call himself, fellow. You know, this podcast thing, it makes him feel very important, and he's a difficult fellow as it is to deal with. So thank you so much for putting up with him, and do take care.